Hi everybody, it's Derek at the Ada Community Library and welcome back to Coder Dojo, our summer coding series. And this week, week 7, we have a new project we're going to work on, and let's go ahead and get started. So for this week's project, we are going to do some things in Scratch, but we're going to learn a new concept incorporating some of the coding fundamentals that we've been working with the last couple weeks. So this week's project is titled Smart Chef, and we're actually going to be incorporating something called machine learning into this Scratch project. So machine learning is a term that refers to teaching a computer to recognize a person's commands, and those commands could be through text input, they could be through your words you're speaking, and that kind of thing. So this is where artificial intelligence comes from. If you think of things like Siri and Netflix and Alexa and those kind of things, they respond to you when you input your information, your preferences, and that kind of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and go over and show you guys just a real basic example in Scratch using our Scratch blocks of code, and then I'm going to show you a way to make a much more powerful block of code with another piece of software, and then we can do some machine learning with that tool. Alright, so I'm going to just black out the window there for a second and get us over to Scratch, to this example, and then we will come back around here. And so in this example here we have Scratchy, the cat, and he's standing in the refrigerator. And what is going on here? So I'm going to go ahead and click on the green flag up here in the upper left corner. And Scratchy, well, that seems appropriate. He's asking, are you hungry? So if you'll notice down below here on the bottom of the screen, or the stage here, there's a little text box with a cursor blinking. So in there you can type your answer, yes or no. So I'm going to go ahead and type in yes. And I apologize, it's kind of hard to read down there. But I'm going to go ahead and type yes and hit the enter key. And then Scratchy says, hey, try this. And it looks like he's got a big bowl of Cheetos there, or some kind of cheese puffs. So, okay. Now, let's go ahead and run this one again. And this time, what I'm going to do is answer opposite and say, no, I'm not hungry. No. And enter. And so now Scratchy has a different response. He just says, okay then, and that's pretty much it. So that was a very simple version of the computer asking you for some input, some opinions, some information about whether you want something to eat or not, and then giving you a yes or no answer. So we all know that in real life, if we're talking to Alexa or Siri, there's all kinds of different words and phrases and so on that you can use, and we're going to get a lot more answers than just you know, a simple okay or that kind of thing. So let's go ahead and just to see how this one was built, we're going to go over and hop over to Scratch real quick, just to kind of get a frame of reference before we dive into the machine learning and the software for that. So let me go ahead and clear out of this screen, and we're going to go back into Scratch here. Okay. And so go ahead and log into your Scratch account. You should be able to do that over here. And if this is your first week, week 1 tells you how to create your account. And I'm going to go ahead and just move on past that and go into the create button here in the main menu. Yeah, all right. And so for this one, we have scratchies all ready to go on the stage there. And let me go ahead and just, before we go any further, I'm just going to scoot things around here a little bit more so we can see what we're doing a little better. Okay. All right, so let's see. Let's go ahead and just for fun, we'll do a backdrop real quick here. Just go to the sprite, or rather the backdrop library. And let's see, we went to indoors, and I went to the refrigerator there. You can put whatever background you want there, it doesn't really matter. And there's Scratchy. I'm going to scoot him back up here like he was earlier in our example. And we'll go ahead and do some coding. So let's go ahead and go over here to the code tab on the left and go down to the events button, and we'll get a, when the green flag is clicked, which starts the program, we'll get that block of code. And then Scratchy was talking to us, right? So we're going to go ahead and go over, let's see here, to the sensing button and to the ask block of code there. And right now the ask block of code says, what's your name? And what you can do is go ahead and click in the field there. You can type in the other thing he asked earlier, and it was, are you hungry? All right, so a couple more things. Now, if you've been with us for the last couple weeks, there's a couple other blocks of code that we did in some of those other projects. I'm going to drag those out now onto the coding interface here, and we're going to want to get a loop, and it's going to be a forever loop. So we'll grab that, and actually we'll just go ahead and put that on right now. Okay, and then we're going to want to get a if-then statement. Now we're actually going to choose the second if-then statement right here, which also has an else. If then else. Okay, and there that is. Okay, and then we are going to go over here to the operators button on the left, and we're going to get the equals block there, equal to. And we can go ahead and drop that right in here right now. And right now it has a blank field and that equal 50. We can just leave those like they are for now. And let's see here. Let's go ahead and let's start building from here before we add any more blocks. So let's go ahead and drag the if, then, else block, and we'll put it right inside the forever loop. Okay. So now looking at the ask are you hungry block there, let's go back over to the sensing button, and we're actually going to want to, here's the block again on the side, we're going to want to click and drag on the answer block, and we're going to drop that right in there into the equals block there, the operator. And if answer is equal to, and we don't want 50, but we want, you go ahead and click in there and delete that number, and we're going to type in yes. If the answer is equal to yes, then he's going to have one kind of response. So let's go ahead and go up to the looks button here, and we're going to choose the say hello block. And we'll put that in there, and of course he's going to say try this, so you go ahead and type in that and delete hello and type in try this, exclamation point. Okay, and now here's we're going to use another couple blocks of code that we use in a couple other projects right now, and what those are the broadcast message and receive message blocks. So go over here and go to the events button, and then we're going to go down here and choose broadcast message, and right now it says broadcast message 1. That's okay. Just going to drag it, drop it in right underneath. Oops, I'm sorry. We're going to drop it right underneath the if the answer is yes, and then he says try this. We're going to get a broadcast message, and again, just to refresh, the broadcast message and the receive message refers to when sprites are communicating with each other, if you will. And so in this case, we had a piece of food or fruit appear, right? So right now that sprite is not down here. We just have our scratchy sprite. So we need to go ahead and go into the sprite library down here in the lower right corner. Okay. And choose some food. And you can choose whatever you want. I'm going to go up here to the main menu. And I'm going to go to the food button there. And I think I'll do a fruit platter here. Okay, so there's our fruit platter. We'll just stick it right there next to the scratchy. Okay. And so if you'll notice, we also have the fruit platter sprite down here next to the scratchy sprite. So make sure that is selected. Okay. And then let's go ahead and click back on the scratchy sprite here, and then our code for scratchy reappears, as you can see. Okay, so what we're going to want to do here is, if the answer is yes to are you hungry, we're going to want that fruit plate to appear. Okay, so go ahead and with the broadcast message 1, go ahead and click on the field where it says message 1 there. And we're going to type in a new message from the drop-down menu. And the new message can be whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and just type in eat, just as long as it reminds you of what the purpose is of that message. So, in that broadcast. So I have broadcast eat showing here. Now what we're going to want to do is go back down here to the sprites and click on the fruit platter sprite, and you'll notice the code disappeared because the fruit platter doesn't have any code on it yet, right? And so let's go ahead and get that set up so when it receives that eat message, it appears. So first off, what we're going to want to do here is get the when green flag clicked block there, and at first the fruit plate is going to not be showing, so we're going to go ahead and go over to the looks button there and scroll down, and I'm going to choose the hide block. Okay, if you want, you can try that out. When you click on that, it should disappear. Okay. Now go ahead and go back down to the events button. Okay, and then we're going to want to choose when I receive. That's referring to that broadcast message from the answer to yes, I'm hungry. When I receive that message to eat, then it's going to show or appear there on the stage. Okay. And we're going to want to go ahead and put a little forever loop in there too, so it stays showing once that code runs. Okay, let's go ahead and try that out. Okay, are you hungry? Yes. And try this, Scratchy says. Okay, so it's working pretty well there. We answered yes. And Scratchy knows what that means. We want something to eat, and he's going to show us the fruit, okay, based off of the code on his sprite. Okay, so now the other option is if you answer no, and so let's go ahead and code that, and that should be, there's a couple different ways we can do this, but we're going to just keep it real simple and go up to the looks button here, and we're going to choose another say. And right now it says say hello for 2 seconds. And we're going to go ahead and just type in and delete hello and type in okay then instead. exclamation point. And let's go ahead and run that. Are you hungry? No. Okay then. Alright, so pretty simple. If we say yes, we see the fruit. If we say no, he just says okay then, and that's the end of it. Okay. So let's go ahead and go over to this new piece of software that I was telling you about, where we can expand on this concept and make it a lot more robust, a lot more detailed in our preferences and our answers and that kind of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and hop over to that site here. So let me just bring up the web link for that one. Then I'll show it here. Okay, so what we're going to want to do here is head over to this web link. Machine Learning for Kids is the name of the website, and that's the link for the website. And if you'd like to go ahead and pause this video right now and take down that link there, that hyperlink, you're going to want to go over to that website for what we're going to do next. Okay, so let's hop on over to Machine Learning for Kids, and I'll just bring that up here on my screen. Bear with me here a minute. Okay, I'll scoot that around. Okay, so you should see this when you go to that hyperlink that I just had up on the screen. And it's showing you a little bit about what this site does. This is the machine learning interface, where we're going to teach the computer some of these things we're talking about. So how to recognize our answers and our inputs and respond in the right way. Okay, so let's go ahead and bear with me here a moment. I'm just going to go ahead and grab another page here that I'm working from. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do now is from this page, we're going to you can sign up for this if you want, but you don't necessarily need to create an account. What you can do instead is just go and from the main page here, you can, let's see, let me get the right screen. Okay, you should be seeing this, and there's a Get Started blue button down here. If you want to skip the login and create an account, and we'll just click on Get Started instead there. And down here it says you can try without registering is the third option. So we're going to click on the Try It Now button. Okay, it's right now you should just see a blank screen more or less. And we're going to go ahead and click on the Add a New Project button there. Okay, and from here we're going to go ahead and name it first. So we're just going to have to get into when we're coding is save your file by giving it a name. And so I think we call this one Smart Chef, so we'll go ahead and just type that. Okay, and then the second field down here is where we can tell it what we're going to be teaching the computer to learn through text, through images, through numbers, through sounds like our voice. So we're going to just choose the text option. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and click the Create button down there in the right corner. Okay, and then you should see your new project here, and you can go ahead and just click Write anywhere in the little area. Okay, so now we have three things we're going to do in our machine learning coding here. So first we're going to go ahead and do the train option here. Collect examples of what you want the computer to recognize. So go ahead and click the train button there. Okay, and again, you should see a blank screen, and over here on the right it says click the plus button to add your first bucket. Okay, and so for our first bucket here, where we're going to collect information, we're just going to type hungry. Okay. All right, and I'm going to do that one more time, and we're going to choose or name it not hungry. Okay, so these are our two buckets. From here, we're going to input words that describe, that fall into one of those two categories. And if you remember in our example with Scratchy, it was an answer, are you hungry? So let's go ahead and think of some different ways of saying yes. So go ahead and click on Add Example there on the bottom of the hungry box, right down here. Okay. And so I'm going to type in yes and click Add, and then you'll see yes is in our bucket here now. Okay. And we're going to want to add in, a number of different terms that are potential answers that the person's going to type in our program there. We can just use some other common language. How about yep? You can type in yeah. All of this is not very grammatically correct, but we're going to just use real world language that we hear a lot. Sure. Yeah. Do a couple more here. Affirmative, maybe from the military, you'd answer that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6. Let's do 2 more here. Do okay. And let's do one more here. There's another one for hungry. That's not really a good example. How about very? How's that? Okay, now we're going to go to the not hungry bucket here, and we're going to add in some text to indicate that no, I'm not hungry. So no would be pretty. Let's see here. Oops, I didn't like that one here with this little message up here. Maybe I can click out of that and try again. Let me get a little message here. This is asking me to log in. Oops. Oh, sorry, that's a little glitch. It just kicked me out of what we were doing. So if this happens to you, just go ahead and click on Try It Now here. Try without registering option. Or you can register if you want, but it's a couple more steps. So I'd recommend for now probably just trying to skip that if you can. Okay, back to add a new project. Okay. Oops, I don't know what happened on that one. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead. Examples. And you can type the same ones I'm typing in, or you can, if you have some of your own, please feel free to do that too, okay? Okay. Oops. Just tell me that was already in my training. Well, let's go ahead and just go over to the not hungry terms. No. Oops, there's a typo there. Here, let's do another one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. I think you guys get the idea, and I think this is enough for us. Okay, so after you get some terms in your hungry and your not hungry buckets here, let's go ahead and go back up to your project up here, up in the left side, upper right corner, back to project, right over here. Okay, and so now we did some training, and now we're going to go ahead and go over to Learn and Test. So click on Learn and Test there, and it says what we've done so far. We've collected some examples, and then what we're going to do is basically have the computer compile this information. Okay. So go down here to the bottom where the Train New Machine Learning Model button is there, and click on that. And so now what's going to happen is it's going to take about a minute for the computer to compile those terms, and it's actually creating a new block of code that we're going to put into Scratch here shortly. So after about a minute, this screen right down here in the bottom is either going to change and tell us it's ready, or if not, we're going to just refresh the page. And then from there, we're going to test it out and see if the computer has learned from what we've input, and it'll give us how certain the computer is in terms of a percentage. Like it's 90%, sure of our answer, whether it means we are hungry or not hungry. Okay. Okay, and down here it says if it takes more than a minute and you don't see anything, you can hit the refresh button on your web browser window to refresh the page. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because I think it's probably been about a minute now. And we'll just see what we get. So to refresh the page, you're going to want to go up here to the top. And I'm on Google Chrome, but depending on your browser, there should be some type of arrow for reload the page, that kind of thing. And before I even got to that, I saw something change on the bottom of my screen here. So look at this. Now it says, try putting in some text to see how it is recognized based off your training. Okay? So let's go ahead and type in one of those answers and see what happens. So I typed yes, and the computer says it recognized that term yes as indicating hungry with 100% confidence. Okay. I think maybe yeah or something like that, or yeah was another one. So let me try that. 100% confidence. Let's go ahead and do not hungry terms or words that indicate we're not hungry. No. 100% confidence, and I think nope was another one, and so on. Okay. Okay, so everything is working from what we've input so far, or rather what we've taught the computer to recognize from our text terms. So cool. So let's go ahead and scroll back up to the top of this window. We're going to do go to back to project. Okay, and now what we're going to do is go over to the third step here, make. Okay, so now what it's doing is it's going to give us some code, and it wants to know which coding platform we're using. We're using Scratch 3, so go ahead and click on Scratch 3. Okay, And this is just telling us about the blocks, these new custom blocks it's created, okay? So we don't need to read through all this right now. You can if you want, definitely. You could pause the video if you want to take some time. But I'm going to go ahead and go up to this button up here in the corner, open in Scratch 3. Okay, so now what's going to happen here is it's going to take us into the Scratch coding interface, but we are actually not in our account. So if you look up here in the upper right corner, it says Scratch Cat, and it has some message on there. So just keep in mind that this is not being saved to your Scratch account. We can do that later though. So what we want to do is go over to the code blocks and go down below here, and you'll notice the very bottom underneath the images button there's a Smart Chef block button there, rather. And there are the new blocks of code that were created from the machine learning from kids and the machine learning that we did to teach the computer. Okay, so now let's go ahead and set this up, and I'll show you how this is a better way to do machine learning in Scratch. Okay, so it's going to be similar to before. We're going to have Scratchy over here asking us the question. If you want, we can go ahead and add the kitchen back in there, just to make things look a little bit more attractive. Put them up there. Okay. And we'll get started here. So I'm going to go ahead and get to the events, and just like before, we'll get the green flag clicked, events block there, and we're going to go down here and get the same ask question block. Okay. And we're going to go down to control and get a forever loop, just like before. Alright, and then we're going to get some of the if, then blocks. So let's go ahead and do that, if, then. And we'll go ahead and put that in a forever loop right now. And now, this is where it's going to get a little bit more interesting. We're going to go ahead and go back over to the operators button like before, and get the equal to block there and drop it in. Okay, so this time what we're going to do is we're going to go down to our Smart Chef blocks down there at the bottom, and we're going to choose this recognize text label block. We're going to drop that in the operator there, the equals to operator. Alright, and then we have, if you look here, look at this, we have a hungry and we have not hungry blocks. Okay, and those are containing all those terms that we typed in earlier. So we're going to do one for if the text is recognized as hungry. And then we're going to go over to looks, and we're going to have a response to that. We're going to say something, and let's go ahead and type in what Scratchy's saying while we're going here. So ask, are you hungry? Okay. And then down here for the say block, second here. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and type in try this. And you can have it for as many seconds as you want. I'm just going to put in about, I don't know, 8 seconds, a little bit longer. Okay. Alright, and then like before, we're going to need a piece of food here. So let's go ahead and go to the sprite library down here in the lower right corner. I've got a couple of different screens on my desk here, so that's why it's taking me a little bit longer to get to where I need to. Alright, so we're going to go to the food, and I think I'm going to do the fruit platter again. It's a pretty big platter there. Okay. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and use the broadcast blocks like before. And let's see, where are we here? Okay. So we're going to do broadcast message, just like before. If the answer is something that indicates yes, I'm hungry. So right now it says broadcast message 1, and we're going to type in a new message, and we'll just do E like we did before. Okay. And then if we go over to the fruit platter, we're going to want to do the same code as before. And we're going to do green flag clicked. We're going to do a hide. Kind of just blowing through this since we just did it. Just like the last one here. Okay. If I'm going too fast, please pause the video, and you can type in what you need to catch up, and then just start the video again. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and I think we're ready to test this out. Let me just check the code here. I think we need a little bit more here. Okay. Let's go ahead and try this code out here. Click the green flag. Are you hungry? And type in. Try to see if you can remember the other answer, the other terms you used when we did the machine learning for this. And try one of those. And I'm going to type in ya, Y-A. Okay, so I typed it in. He says, try this. Oh, there's the fruit. It took a little while to get there, though, didn't it? Okay, so that might be something that needs to be looked at here. But it is working. The machine learning that we taught it and the block is working. It did recognize that other answer, ya, or yeah, and it showed us the fruit. Okay. So you can try out some of the other terms if you want. I'm going to keep going on here and get the rest of this in order. So let's go ahead and get another if-then statement, or block rather. And I'm going to just put it down here for a minute so you can kind of see what I'm doing before I throw it in here with the other one. So the thing starts running together at some point or another. I'm going to get the operators button equal to block, drop it in there. Okay. And it's going to be the same thing as before. We're going to do the recognize text. And you'll see there's two recognized text blocks here. There's one with label in parentheses and one with confidence with parentheses. You want the one with the label in parentheses. I'm going to talk more about what the difference is between those in a minute. Okay, and then we're going to choose not hungry this time instead of hungry and drop that in there. And then we're going to have a message say, and this time it's going to be okay then. Okay. So you can go ahead and, if you have that all coded, you can go ahead and put it back up and drop it inside here with the others, inside the forever loop. If hungry, it's going to say try this. If it's not hungry, it's going to say okay then. So let's go ahead and try that out here. Are you hungry? No. Okay, and then he's saying try this. So that didn't work too well. Let's check our code here. I think we need an if then else. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's pull this out of here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that block in there. And then I'm going to move these others over here. Oops. Let's see if it'll let me draw. There we go. Go ahead and get rid of these. Sorry about that, it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing. Okay. And we're going to want to put all of this into the forever loop. So just to look at this before we put it into the forever loop, we have if the text is recognized as equal to hungry, then Scratchy is going to say try this, and then the broadcast eat block will make the fruit appear. Else, if the answer, the text is recognized as not hungry from one of those terms, then Scratchy is going to say okay then. Alright, so let's go ahead and drag all that into the forever loop, and we'll go ahead and run it and see what we get this time. Are you hungry? I'm going to type in yep this time. I think that was one of the terms I used before. And he says try this. Okay. Well, it was a delay again, but there's the fruit. It did show up eventually. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and try it again. Stop and start. Are you hungry? I think I typed nope in for one of my answers, so I'm going to go ahead and try that. Oh, this is interesting. So now he didn't recognize nope as no, I'm not hungry, and he's saying try this. So let's check our code on that, because something's not quite right there. Let's see here. Ask, are you hungry, and wait. And then we have either if text is hungry, then try this. Broadcast eat else. If recognized is not hungry, then say okay. Okay then. Well, I'm not sure why that's not right. Let's go ahead and run it again and try another answer. Are you hungry? I'm going to put just no. And yeah, he's still saying try this. So he's not recognizing any of my terms indicating I'm not hungry. So let's go ahead and let's break down our code for a minute here. If something's not working, it's best to just take it apart and break it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, these blocks here that basically give his response if we enter a term that says he's indicating we're not hungry, and let's see if that works. Are you hungry? No. Okay. And he's not saying okay then, is he? Let's go ahead and give it some more time. I'm going to go ahead and type in 8 seconds. Let's see, maybe it's just taking some time to show up. Are you hungry? No. Okay, not sure. Looking at my code here. Oh, guess what? I just caught what we're missing here. So we did this in our example earlier, but we want to go down to sensing. And do you remember when we had that what's your name block here? There's also an answer block that needed to coincide with if-then blocks. So let's go ahead and drop the answer block right into where text is. And it's going to be the same thing for down here. We're going to want recognize text, answer. Okay. So let's go ahead and try that out. I'm going to leave the one block detached right now. Just try, are you hungry? Yes. Try that again. I'm not sure why that's not working here. Oop, got one more thing we need to add in here. We need to do a broadcast block that's missing. You'll see that there's a broadcast block down here for the not hungry. But up here there's not. So there's broadcast eat. And we actually want to get rid of the broadcast eat there. When they're not hungry, there's not going to be any fruit showing up. Okay, let's go ahead and run this again here. Are you hungry? Yes. And, well, it's not working. Let me take a look at my code here. I'm going to check the code on the fruit. I think we put that on there. RCV show, okay. Looks good. Just looking through my code again here. And if it's working on your end, then great. And if it's not working, like mine, then just look at your code, see if there's anything that might be preventing this from running. So I don't see anything out of place on mine, so I'm going to just try again here. Are you hungry? Yes. Okay. And nothing going there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this block out of here for a minute. Let's go ahead and try the other block. I'm going to give that one a break for a little bit, and I'm going to put in this other one. And this other block is if the answer is equal to, oops, looks like I had the code backwards. So this is the one that actually has, if you answer something in a text that is what we taught it to recognize is hungry. You can see here. Then we'll get to try this. Okay. It's getting late in the day, so I apologize. I think I'm staring at the screen a little bit too long today. Okay. And the fruit is not showing up because we need to have the broadcast block. I'm going to just pull the broadcast block up here and put it there. Run it again. Yes. Try this. And there it goes. Eventually the fruit got there, so that's working. Let's go ahead and drop the other if-then block in here. And again, we have if-then-else block here. If-then-else. So if-then hungry, you're going to get one answer. Try this. You'll see the fruit. Else, if the block, or rather the text that you input is determined or interpreted by the computer as not hungry, like some of our answers, no, nope, negative, then Scratchy's going to say, okay, let's go ahead and try that out. Are you hungry? No. Okay, then. All right, so it's working now. And I apologize if that was confusing or doesn't make sense. I'd say if things aren't working, you can pause this video, rewind it, check your code. If it's just not working, even after you're troubleshooting and you're starting to get tired and frustrated, you could even just drag all your code off of the stage to the left and just start over again. Sometimes it's better to start fresh. Just a little advice on the side there. So we're going to do one more thing today with our project, and we're going to just try to get it to be a little bit more, one more option. If you type in an answer that isn't one of those terms that we coded earlier with the machine learning, we're going to get a third kind of response from Scratchy. Okay, so what if you type in something that just doesn't make any sense at all? Okay, so let's run this and let's type in, are you hungry? And I'm just going to do some gibberish there. Well, guess what he says, try this, and he didn't understand your answer. So let's get it to be a little bit more like something you get through if you're doing Siri or if you're doing Google, okay? And you typed in something that it didn't recognize, okay? For whatever reason, maybe you typed something in with a typo, maybe you stuttered your words and the computer didn't recognize it. The computer usually says something like, did you mean this? Did you mean that? Or I don't understand, that kind of thing. So let's go ahead and do an alternative option for that, for answers that are just unintelligible by the computer. Okay, so what we're going to do is, let's see, I'm going to, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put this block. We're going to do another if-then block here. I'm going to put this down here, excuse me, just so you can see a little bit more clearly. We're going to do, for this other option, if-then, and let's go ahead and get the operators button, and we're going to get the equal to again. And let's see here. Let's go back to the Smart Chef blocks. Now, there's a recognized text for label, but there's a recognized text with confidence. And what confidence refers to is, you remember when we did the test earlier in the machine learning and it said it had 100% certainty that it was confident in its understanding of your term, whether you were hungry or not? So that's what the confidence refers to in this block here. So, and I apologize, we're actually going to want a different operator here. Go ahead and take the equal to operator out. And instead we're going to do a less than sign here. Okay, we're going to drop that in there. And then we're going to type in, or rather put in the recognized text with confidence. And we actually want recognize the answer with confidence. Go over here to the sensing and drop that in like the other ones. Now, right now it says if it recognizes the text with a less than 50 percent certainty, and I think for now we'll go ahead and just probably leave that number. We can tweak that number differently if we want to. Well, we'll just leave it at 50% certainty there for now, and its confidence over whatever text you're going to type in. If that happens, if it doesn't really feel too strong about what you typed in and what it needs to answer, it's going to type in. It's going to answer rather. I'm sorry. I don't know what you mean. Yeah, this is 2 seconds right now. We can say, I don't know, maybe like 8 seconds, something like that, a little bit longer. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that, and then we're going to be wrapping up for the day for this project, for this lesson, if you will. Okay, so we have the if, then, else block here, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this out for a minute. Put those to the side, and then we're going to go ahead and put this confidence block, if you will, there first. And let's see here. We actually want, I apologize, let me pull this out here. We want an if then else, but I'm going to have to pull another one out here to get everything to line up the way we want it to. So if then else, and we're going to go ahead and put that in like that. And we'll get this all in order. It's okay. We only want one if then else block. So let's get that first one in there, and we're going to put this into that one. Okay. And then we're going to do this. Say, I don't know what you mean. And then under the else, we're going to put in these other ones here. Okay, we can just drop the whole thing in there like that. All right, let's go ahead and try that out. Are you hungry? Yes. Try this. And that fruit will show up here eventually. Okay. Let's run it again. Are you hungry? No. Okay then, nothing for you. Now let's put in another scenario. Let's say, are you hungry? And you put some gibberish in there. There's a typo. I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean, okay? Alright, so that is where we're going to leave it for today. For our machine learning project, this is just a simple one, just to kind of get our feet wet and how this kind of thing works. And we learned some cool stuff today with the machine learning for kids tool there on their website that creates machine learning blocks, custom blocks that we can put into our Scratch programs. Okay. So again, you could do a lot more with this. You could make it a lot more powerful, robust, a lot more features. You could have a full conversation with Scratchy. You could give them a recipe. You could give them all your food preferences. I mean, there's just, the sky is the limit on this kind of thing. But hopefully this made some kind of sense to you on some level, and it's just a start, but it's cool to learn about how machine learning, what it is, and then how it relates to artificial intelligence, which is all around us in today's world. So let's go ahead and wrap up and talk about what's coming for next week. I'm going to go ahead and just sign out of that for a moment here. And go back over to our main teaching screen there. And so our next meeting will be Tuesday, July 28th, and we'll have something else for you guys. Have something else up my sleeve, and we'll continue to code on, okay? If you want, again, you can find previous projects from our previous weeks at Ada Community Library's YouTube channel. There's the link there on the screen, and I think that will do it. So thanks so much for joining us today, and have a great week, and we'll see you next time, and thanks again. Take care.